In the summer of 1973, when the air over New York shimmered with quiet heat and the terminals of JFK Airport buzzed like a living machine, an incident occurred that would never officially appear in any government record. Yet among retired customs officers and night shift clerks, whispered over late coffee and fading cigarette smoke, it's still remembered as the day the woman arrived from nowhere. It began, like most mysteries, without a trace of drama. A mid-morning flight from London touched down, its passengers moving through immigration in sleepy lines. Among them was a woman of about 35, calm, neatly dressed, her hair tied in an old-fashioned bun. She carried a dark blue passport embossed with a golden emblem no one recognized. When she reached the counter, the officer, a young man named Richard Handley, flipped open the passport and frowned. It looked official, stamped with seals and watermarks, but none matched any country in the world. Across the top, in elegant letters, was written, "Republic of Viridia." Handley hesitated, glancing toward his supervisor. Viridia? He'd never heard of it. The woman waited patiently, her hands folded over a small brown suitcase. "Ma'am," he said gently, "where are you traveling from?" "From Viridia," she replied, in perfect English. "Capital city, Navenport. It's a long trip." Handley smiled uncertainly. "And where is Viridia located exactly?" She looked surprised, almost amused. "It's between France and Germany," she said. "Surely you know." Handley blinked. Between France and Germany lay Luxembourg, not Viridia. He turned to his supervisor, who had been quietly watching. "Sir, can you come take a look at this?" The older officer studied the passport carefully. The paper felt genuine. The photograph matched her face. The stamps showed years of travel: Spain, Japan, Egypt, Canada, all marked with the same mysterious crest. "Ma'am," the supervisor said politely, "do you have any other identification?" She nodded and handed over a small leather wallet. Inside were credit cards, a driver's license, and a hotel loyalty card, all issued by Viridian institutions. The addresses listed a city no mapmaker had ever drawn. By now, the quiet hum of the immigration area had faded into a tense hush. The officers escorted her to a small interview room. She seemed neither frightened nor defensive, only mildly confused that anyone would question her homeland's existence. "I've been to New York before," she explained, her voice soft. "My first visit was in 1968. You must have my records." The officers checked. No entry, no departure, nothing under her name, her passport number, or her supposed birthplace. As the hours passed, the mystery deepened. The hotel she claimed to have booked, the Mayfair Grand, didn't exist.
By evening, the senior official in charge, Mr. Howard Finch, decided to detain her overnight for clarification. She was placed in a comfortable airport hotel under watch. Her passport and belongings were kept in the customs office safe. Before leaving, she asked quietly, "Will I be allowed to call my family in Navenport?" Finch, unsure how to answer, simply said, "We'll try to arrange that tomorrow." That night, a thunderstorm rolled over the city. Rain lashed the glass windows of the terminal, and lightning flashed across the distant skyline. Inside the quiet hotel corridor, 2 security guards took turns watching her door. At 2:45 a.m., one of them swore he heard her voice, faint, calm, as if speaking to someone through the telephone. But the room's phone line was dead. At 6:10 a.m., when the morning shift arrived, the guards knocked on her door. No answer. They unlocked it and froze. The bed was neatly made. The window was closed. The small brown suitcase was gone. And on the desk lay her passport, open to the first page. But the words Republic of Viridia were fading, as if dissolving into the paper. By noon, the lettering had vanished completely, leaving only a blank page where the nation's name had once been. No trace of the woman was ever found. No one matching her description was reported missing anywhere in the world. The hotel security footage, which should have shown her entering the room, was blank for the entire hour surrounding her arrival. Years later, Hanley, the young officer who had first seen her passport, told his story in a small interview for a local magazine. He was retired then, living quietly in upstate New York. When asked whether he believed the woman was real, he smiled faintly and said, "I remember the sound of her voice, the way she said Navenport." Over the decades, the story drifted through airport folklore, whispered among night shift staff and aviation historians. Some said she was a traveler from a parallel world, a version of Earth where borders and names were slightly different. Others believed she was part of a Cold War intelligence operation that went terribly wrong. And a few thought she was simply a lost soul, caught between dream and memory. Whatever the truth, the file marked Unidentified Female Traveler 1973 remains locked in the archives of JFK Airport. The passport itself was never recovered. Only a faded photocopy of its first page survives, a page that now shows nothing but a faint outline of gold where the crest once shimmered. There's a strange comfort in the idea that somewhere, in some other version of the world, the woman might have continued her journey, stepping off a plane into a familiar airport, greeted by people who know her name, in a city called Navenport, in a country called Viridia. Maybe she looks back sometimes, remembering a world that didn't recognize her, a world that thought she came from nowhere. And maybe, somewhere beyond the edges of our maps, that place still waits, quiet and green, its borders marked by rivers that no one here has ever seen. So when you next pass through an airport, pause for a moment. Listen to the echo of footsteps, the murmur of voices in a dozen languages. Among them, perhaps, is the faint sound of a woman asking for directions home, home to a place that never was, and yet, somehow, must be.